Hi, my name is Tom. Welcome to my channel. I've been doing a series of videos on using ChatGPT to do Midjourney prompts. And I've been trying to do a mix of different ones where some will be simpler ideas and shorter, and others will be more involved. And this will be a more involved one. I've been working on a project for quite a while where the concept is, I think, a pretty simple concept, but turned out to be very challenging to implement. And the idea is that now that ChatGPT has the ability to see images, um, in, I would have a process where I could load an image, and then it would analyze the image, and then I can have different options of how to use that image to construct the journey prompts. Um, and so now I've gotten it to where it has 5 different ways of processing um, these images and creating prompts. And here's some of the images of this. I finally got a version that I'm happy with, so that's why I wanted to stop and uh, do a video on it. It's something that's working reasonably well. So I'll start by just showing some of the images that were produced by the prompts of the process. So these are since it's doing there's 10 prompts and then 4 images each, so there'll be about 40 images, and all of these are based on an image that I downloaded. So let me find that. Probably let me go here. All right. So this is the image um, here that I uploaded to ChatGPT, from which it generated prompts for Midjourney. Um, and I'll be showing you the Midjourney images that were kind of born from that original prompt. And then I'll go through how that worked. So what it did was it took that original prompt and um, it the instructions were for it to pick a location based on that prompt, and it chose the coastline of California. And then based on that, I generated a series of prompts, 10 different prompts. And so I've got 4 images each of the different prompts. And you can see that the prompts are of different sorts. There's, let's see, these are photos. This is art, digital illustration. This is another photo. So these are Big Sur photos. This is Pebble Beach. This is a cinematic still. And then these are watercolors. So I was very happy in how this turned out. It's just a nice collection of different sorts of images. Um, let me, I'm, I'm going to turn just the camera here. So I'm a little concerned that I might be blocking what you're seeing. So let me go back up to the top. All right. Okay, so the original image is the one that I showed of a beach scene, and these are photos of sea otters. I was surprised that these turned out so well because I've done like images with Midjourney of dolphins, and those don't seem to turn out well at all, but these look quite good. Um, okay, and then we got artwork of jellyfish, and then we have the Big Sur photos, And this is Pebble Beach. These are cinematic stills. This is watercolors. And I think I'm caught up to where I was, so I'll go a little slower. Um, okay, this is photos of, it says Pacific Grove, Lovers Point in Pacific Grove. And then here it uses, it's doing a William Turner style art painting, oil painting. And then, all right, that's the end. So this is another batch. All right. So all of these photos that I just showed were generated from, well, I guess it's a combination of two things. It's generated from the image and also obviously the instructions that I gave to it on how to use the image to construct these 10 different prompts. And I'll go into that in a bit. But first, I'll show a couple of other um, so this is like, there's like 5 options you can choose. This is option number 5, is that it will use the image and construct 10 different prompts based on that image of different sorts, like we just saw. Okay, so this is a different option. So this option here is based on design. So it will look at an image that I give it, and I'll show the image here. I'll have to scroll up a bit. Let's see. This is, all right. There's, all right. This is the image here, right here. All right. So I used this image to uh, have it generate design prompts. So its instructions are to look at this image and then to come up with design prompts. And it came up, it should have come up with 3. I'm not sure I did all 3 though, that actually executed them. But this is an image that it generated based on that picture that you saw. And then, so those are 4 of them. Yeah, it did more. This is just one of the 3 prompts that it did. I didn't do the images for the other 2, but it did. Um, I'm trying to remember. I remember it did jewelry. It did a jewelry prompt. And I don't remember what the third thing it did was, but it comes up with 3 different prompts based on different things that could be designed based on what it's looking at. Is the idea. And then this one was a different option. This must have been option 1. There's an option 1 and an option 2 that are very similar. The only difference being that option 2 will specify like an artist, like Monet or Tan or somebody like that. And option 1 doesn't specify an artist, but it follows this kind of style here where it'll choose an art style and then a medium and then a description of the items that are in the image. So this was again, uh, I'll show the image that inspired these. I think this is quite interesting. Um, this is the image. So you can see this image is quite a lot different than the ones that you're seeing that were prompted by this. And there's different ways of going about this. And I think I'd like to have different versions of the script. Um, I'm calling a script the ChatGPT instructions I used, where I'd like to have, I think, one version that's more tries to develop images that are close to the ones that you see. But this one here, the approach is to have the image serve as a way of inspiring a collection of other images. And so you can see that this picture looks quite a lot different than the one that I just showed you that inspired it, but um, I think it's a nice collection of images. And now this is a different one. So this was, I'm actually I'm not sure which one generated this one. So okay, this one has basically 5 words, and that's another option. So this one I do know what the image was that inspired it. So I'm not sure I have it in this session though. I don't think I do. Okay, but I can find it this way. So I'll show you the image that inspired the ones that we'll look at just now. And then after showing you that, I'll start looking at the script itself. So this is the image that I used that inspired the images, the Midjourney images that we're about to look at. And the instructions for the prompts are basically to use 5 words. And then I tell it how to choose the 5 words. So this was the image that served as the inspiration for the images that we're about to look at that Midjourney created from the prompt that I gave ChatGPT. Okay. So when I say the prompt I gave to ChatGPT, that's the same thing as I'm talking about as a script. Okay, so once again, it's following the style of using 5 different words according to how I instructed it to choose the words, and you can see that they're quite different from the original image. This one you can see a similarity. So these are 4 images from one of the prompts. And this one was kind of interesting, I thought. This is also that same image. So I made 3 different prompts. And this was the first prompt that was based on the image that I showed you of the warrior figure, in the sunset. And it came up with this idea featuring a lantern, which is kind of interesting. And this doesn't look anything like the image that I showed you that inspired them. But this one does. This one you can see is pretty close in terms of the idea. And then these are kind of in between, a little bit closer than the first set, but um, not as close as the middle set. All right, so here I wanted to show the different sorts of images that come from the ChatGPT script. And now we'll take a look more at the script itself. So where to start? Let's start here. So the way that I went about this was IDP stands for image driven prompt. And you can see I have a bunch of versions. And the first version that I did was just to sort of stub out the um, the style of the prompt, the ChatGPT prompt. So this is a prompt or script. So the idea is that you upload an image, and then it asks you to choose an option, and then based on the option, it would process it according to the instructions. So for the first version, I just have it output option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. And then my idea was I could just put in the more complex options or the actual instructions for constructing the ChatGPT prompts um, in in the place of just saying option one. Okay, so then in version two, I put in some actual instructions for option one. So that's why you can see that it's, there's a lot more to it. So here we've got option two, option three, option four, and then for option one, it's an actual um, script. Excuse me a moment. It's an actual script to construct um, Midjourney prompts, is what that was. And this was the one I mentioned that it had the art style. It didn't have the name of an artist, but it had the art style and the medium. That was that option. Okay, and then what I wanted to do was well, actually, I think what I did next was I put in the user manual. And the video, I have a video that talks about that, how to build a user manual, which that's a short video, about 5 minutes. And the idea is um, I just ask it to preface, it just says, here's the user manual. And then I ask it to formulate a response that it would give if the user asked, how does this work? Which I thought that's kind of a neat idea because I don't have to update the instructions for the user manual um, because it's looking, at what all the options are and just writing it out on the fly, basically. Each time it just asks itself the question, how does this work? And then explains how it works. And previously, I had the user manual at the beginning of the instructions, but it occurred to me it'd be better to put it at the end. And the reason is that if you have a script which is complex, the way that ChatGPT processes information, you want to make it as much top down, sequential as possible. You don't want it skipping around from top to bottom or anything. And so when I had the user manual at the top, I was concerned that it would have to, it says to explain how it works, but at the beginning of the script, it doesn't know how it works because it hasn't read it yet. So it occurred to me it would be better to put it at the end where it's read all of the script, knows how it works, and then it'll output how it works. And okay, and then you can see I just got option two, option three, option four. And my thought was, well, I can just keep adding options and it should work. Just cookie cut piece of cake. But it turned out to be very difficult to get to the next step. Because what would happen would be I would have put in an image. I would put in an image and just have it do like option four or something, where it's just outputting. And then I'd have option one, which was the real thing. And what would happen would be for the output of the doing the real thing, um, it would use the output from the option that was before. So I didn't explain that very well, but I'll try again. So to go through an actual example, so I'd go through it. And it would start out. It would do the user manual, the way that it should. And I'm going to put me back, just since I'm just talking for a while. Okay, so it would uh, explain how the the project would work. That was the first thing. So that worked. I would upload an image. That would work. It asked me for an option. That would work. And then it would execute the instructions for that option. That would work. It would ask me for a new image. And that would work. I'd upload the image. And then that's where it would break down. So then at that point, what it should have done would be to say, choose an option. But instead, what it did was it just repeated what it had just done. And that turned out to be very, very, very difficult to fix that. Basically, to get it to kind of, loop and continue the process uh, instead of kind of getting stuck on that last step. And um, the way that was finally solved was um, I I explained. I think part of the problem that I had was actually kind of my fault, which was I didn't explain to ChatGPT very well what the issue was. And the way that worked was I explained to it basically just exactly what I just did to you, where I went through everything that happened. And then once I did that, then it came up with a good strategy. And the strategy that it came up with, I think it's actually in the next version, this version, okay, 5 here. So the strategy that it came up with was to have this label of interaction point. And actually, it was kind of a group effort because I kind of helped it um, in the idea. Because the idea was I need to get it to go back, basically, right, to go back and get in kind of in a loop situation where it re-executes the script. So it had the idea of calling it an interaction point, and then um, at the end of each of the options, it says return to the interaction point and proceed as before, allowing the user to make a new selection. And then that was pay dirt because like once that worked, then I was able to do like the cookie cut approach, where basically I just put in, real things that I wanted to do uh, for each of the options. And so I'm up to 5 options, and I have ideas for other things to do, but there's quite a lot of stuff that it does, and I thought this would be a good point to kind of stop and talk about it, and also make it available for anyone that's interested. So if you'd like to use the script and play around with it, you can go to my blog here. So Tom Ewald, buildchatgpt.blogspot.com. And I've got 2 posts there. One post is the script that I just did just right now called image-driven prompts. So you can just go to the site and copy paste the script. And then there's one other post, which is another script. So maybe I guess let me back up here. So more posts. So there's only two posts on this blog, and this one is called Image-Inspired Constructed Prompts, and it's very similar to this one that I have. This script is more complex, so I like the one that I just put out now. I think it's a lot cleaner. It doesn't. What happened was on this, and I did a video on this one, and this has 4 options, and one of the options is you can load a style code. So it has kind of 3 steps to it instead of 2. So the 2 steps would be you load the image and then asks you for an option, and then it constructs the prompts. This one you could, for option number 2, you could upload a style code. So it would ask you for a style code. The style code I'm talking about is like the functionality came out beginning of November when they had the rollout of where I'm talking about. It's the Midjourney functionality came out. I think in the beginning of November, where you could use a style tuner to create uh, a style code of your own. And so one of the options here would allow you to put in a style code and use that to formulate prompts. And that worked really well because I really liked the prompt. I mean, the images that it came up with, which I'll show you some of these because I think they're really beautiful. Let's see if I can get there. Let's see if I. This is not. Let me. Uh, I wasn't responding as quickly as I would have liked. See, I think I'll turn me back off again here. Let's see. Okay. So the images that I'm talking about um, are these right here. I think these are gorgeous. Right. So you can see this as the style code. Um, and so I gave it an original image, and which I think might have been the same. I think it might have been this one I showed you earlier of the mount. Well, I'm not sure. I guess it doesn't matter. Um, can't find the scroll bar. All right. Anyway, it might have been the one of the mountains, but it doesn't really matter. I gave it an original image, and I gave it a style code, and uh, asked it to come up with images based on the theme of Paris. So this is Montmartre, and isn't that pretty? I really like these. This one is kind of cute because you have people walking in the water. Uh, and the prompts are different, but you can see the effect of the style code where it has this kind of vibrant watercolor maybe feel to it. This is Cafe in Paris, and then some more like that. This is still the same style code. These are a little different. And oh, isn't that nice? Here we got it Japanese, and it's still the same style code. So it came up with all of these variations, um, just giving it an original image to pattern off of and a style code, and of course the instructions on how to build the Midjourney prompts. So what happened was I tried to add an option 5 to this first script that I did, and it just wasn't working. It kept asking for a style code, even though there's only one of the 5 options that needed a style code, and I couldn't get the thing to work, and so I thought, okay, it seemed to me like a good approach would be to have two different uh, scripts. One script would be for adding style codes, and I could have different options for doing that. And another one would be what I just have gone through with you, no style codes, and strip out a lot of the complexity. So if you look at the two different scripts, you'll see that this one is a lot more, this first attempt is a lot more complex than the one that I'm just uploading today. So the one that I'm uploading or uploaded just right now is called Image Driven Prompts. And I'd invite you to copy paste it, play around with it, and also go through it and look at it. And it has the instructions for how to do the options can be quite complex, but the structure of the script itself is pretty simple, and you can put in your own, options. And you could use that as a template and just substitute out how you want to do the uh, the Midjourney prompts yourself. And I will show. I do want to show one technique that was used. Well, maybe I'll do. Yes, I'll like I had it open here. All right. So when I started out and I showed the 40 different images based on 10 prompts, the way that I did that, this is one of the projects that I enjoyed the most. And I'm pretty sure I did a video on this. Um, and the idea of this video is I told ChatGPT to come up with 10 words that were iconic for some location, and then had to construct a blog post that this is what it looks like. And it uses the 10 words to form 10 Midjourney prompts. And I gave it different types of prompts to do. So some of them are artwork, some are photos, and some are cinematic stills. So you have a different collection of types of images. And so the prompt to get Midjourney to do this was fairly involved. But once it did it, then all I did was I just copied and pasted the contents. Now, when it does that, it won't include the images. So I just like take the whole thing. I'm doing Control A here, Control C, go to ChatGPT, and paste it in here like this. I put the whole thing in there, and then I just say, pick a new location and adapt this to that location. It's as simple as that. Really, really cool. And it's smart enough to where it'll, I give it a little bit more information than that, but not much. I'm telling it there's 10 words that you pick based on the location. Use those 10 words to form the prompts. Here's an example of it. Do likewise. And so I can tell it I want, do it for, Paris or London or whatever location, and just do the same thing. And it just does it. So it's a very, very simple prompt. And so that's what I did for the option 5. The one I started out that I showed you is I just copied and pasted this. I put it in the script itself. So this is the last, I think okay. It's the last one, which is IDP version 11, I think. Last one I did here. All right. So I'm going to go down to option 5. And in option 5, what I did is I copied and pasted what I just showed you, basically. So this is option 5. So if the user chooses option 5, do the following. Based on the image, choose location, such as a city or state, province, or country. The following is from a blog post for Istanbul, Turkey. And then I just pasted what I just showed you. I just pasted from the blog post. And then I said, based on this template, produced similar output for the location you chose based on the image. And here's the basic idea. 10 words are chosen. And basically the rest of it is just telling it to just follow the template. So that technique, I think, is a really, really nice technique to be aware of, which is that, like, you might have some idea of something you want ChatGPT to do, which is complex. It takes a long time for you to get it to do what you want it to do. But once you've got an example of that, then to get more of a similar type of output, all you have to do is just say, here's an example. It does. The point is, it doesn't need to know how the original example was constructed. That's a real cool concept to make to remove a lot of the complexity. is you just give it the output that was produced, and it doesn't need to know how that output was produced, but you just tell it, okay, uh, do a cookie cutter approach, from what you already have. So, for example, here's a real simple idea. You can just go to prompts that you've done, Midjourney prompts I'm talking about that you like, make a collection of these prompts, and maybe you got 5 or 10 of them, and just string them together. And you can tell ChatGPT, here's a collection of 5 or 10 prompts, and I have a basic theme in mind. I'll do this sometimes for the daily theme if you're familiar with that. I get a collection of prompts that I like. They can be, I should do a video on that sometime. It's real easy to do and you get nice results. So you just get a collection of prompts, Midjourney prompts that you like, put them together, and you say, this is, so that in case you don't know, Midjourney has a channel called uh, Daily Theme. So I'll go there. And then the daily theme will have some word or collection of words that you need to use in the prompts that you do. And the theme for today is Sumi-e, which is a type of Japanese art. And so I could just get a collection of prompts, put them together and say, okay, um, the daily theme for today is Sumi-e. Adjust these prompts, these Midjourney prompts, so that they have the word Sumi-e in them. And, and, say something like, actually, that's enough to do. You might want to add something like, adapt the prompt so that the Sumi concept works. But it's really smart enough to know that on its own. So you really could just say, here's the 10 prompts that you have, and I want you to make 10 prompts like these, but they need to have the word Sumi in them. And then, like adapt the themes as necessary to make it so that it works with the Sumi, and it'll do it. So that's a really simple way of getting a nice collection of new prompts based on uh, old prompts that you've already done. Well, thanks a lot for watching my channel, and just want to make sure. I think I showed this, but I'll show this again just to make sure that this is a URL for the blog. If you're interested in going there and grabbing the scripts that I've been talking about. Thanks for watching my channel.